The flower bed is almost at max color. I do have some deadheading to do, but let's go take a look at how beautiful this garden looks. It's around 4th of July, which is max color on this garden for summer season. Pretty much everywhere you look in this garden, it is completely full of flowers. Let's take a look. So the opening of the garden has these stately yellow, they're almost lemon colored lilies. The pink lilies that were here have already faded, and then the next batch of lilies, which are the more tall variety, have just started. All of these lilies are Asiatic, which means they are not fragrant at all. I got a little bit of intermittent sun, so it'll be interesting to see how this works. But just beyond the lilies in the opening here, we have some beard's tongue that just finished flowering. So it's got this nice red foliage, and it was white flowered, but that's done for now. And then you have these two-tone red lilies, again Asiatic, and the color combination is really interesting. We just got done getting a little light sprinkle, so that's what the water is on there. And during my last garden tour, I talked about this gooseneck loosestrife, which is extremely evasive, and I need to pull it out, but I thought I would at least show one video of it before I pull it out of the ground. It is really a beautiful flower. It just takes over, which I don't like. During my last tour, I showed the common milkweed, and they were in full bloom, and the blooms are just starting to fade. And the butterflies are just crazy still coming around. As I had mentioned in my last video, when I plant the garden, or when I planted this garden, I planted it like it was little bouquets of flowers, but in the ground. So I put combinations of things together that would bloom at the same time. The Delphiniums that you see here are starting to fade. They're really on their last week or a few days here. This variety is called Fantasia, and they're the beautiful different colors of blue, and I think hands down it's my favorite variety of delphinium because it won't get toppled in the wind. We've had quite a few storms whip through here, and they have stood proud through the whole thing. So if you're looking for a variety of delphinium, I would say go with the Fantasia collection. I grow all of these from seed. And again, I'm in zone 4 up by Minneapolis. Because we're at 4th of July, that's when the Russian sage also starts. Just putting some color, or the flowers start coming. The foliage itself is always that silvery color, and I really like it just for a backdrop, whether it's blooming or not. Now that the Russian sage has started blooming, it will actually stay with some form of color all the way up until frost, which is a great flower to have to take you through to the end of season. Doing a quick pan view just from this little section of the garden. We have these lilies. They're going to be probably at peak here the next day or so, and then my tall garden phlox is just starting to come. You can see it right here. It's just starting. And it'll be highly fragrant, and I've done a pretty good job of keeping the deer away. But look at these goosenecks. It's quite a view, isn't it? It's too bad they're evasive and they can't stay in one place. And here's another tall garden phlox. Did a pretty good job of keeping the deer off them. Magnificent pink color. So this garden is full clay, full sun. And so the things that you see in this garden, if you have full sun, full clay, or heavy clay, is a good option. Even though I'm in heavy clay, a lot of these things are drought tolerant. For example, like the Russian sage. That will take a lot of drought. So here's a look at one section of the garden that is all the Russian sage in it. And some lilies. The Russian sage is so big that it's kind of dwarfing, making the Russian sage is so big in here, it's dwarfing the lilies that are in there. You can hardly tell they're there. If there was ever a garden that was a butterfly's delight, it would be this one. And this is actually my husband's garden. He likes all the oranges and the reds. And this beautiful orange flower is a butterfly weed. I don't see any caterpillars on it today, but it's just an amazing bright orange color. And then behind it is the common milkweed, also doing well. These are this is another variation of daylily, and they have orange red flowers. They just haven't opened yet. And the Asiatic lilies are in here. It looks like I still have some tall garden phlox. And then that is my Johnson blue. That's my Johnson blue geranium that's finished. I'm going to cut those tops off, and it will bloom again for me. So yeah, it's just amazing. It's only been about a week since my last video on this in this area, and the amount of bloom in here is amazing. I've got some strange things, like some flowers are dying back, and I don't know why that's going on. I wonder if I have something under the ground doing that. I just think that's really weird. I don't know what's causing that. Unless it was something like a big deer came and laid inside of here. I don't know. Because it looks pushed away. I don't know what else would have caused that. And as I continue down here, these are my poppies that are done and they're drying. I'm going to cut those off and take them in the house. I want for them to turn, I think, fully brown. Or maybe I could cut them when I do deadheading. I want to collect the seeds and plant more. So we're getting towards the end of this flower bed, and I refer to this as a Dutch garden because in the spring it's completely full of tulips. And for right now we're entering like I said, that peak summer season where most of the herbaceous flowers are in bloom, for me anyway. A lot of them are pollinator flowers as well. And I have some pretty special lilies in the back here. Those have been blooming for almost a week, so those look pretty good. And then I have some more of the Fantasia Delphiniums in the back. And then some mixed Liatris, which I did not plant. They self-sowed, so I'm going to have to dig those out. This flower here is spurge or euphorbia, something like that. And I don't think I planted it. I think it's self-sowed. And I left it, but I probably should take it out of here and make room for other things. Coming around this way, I have a full line of pink, tall pink lilies. Again, Asiatic in the backdrop there to finish out the garden for the year. And then there is a standard pink geranium there. And this is my Pacific Giant Delphinium, which I've only got one in the garden. And it has survived for 5 years now, or 4 to 5 years, which is pretty good. The floor in this section of the garden, I have the sweet woodruff, which I do not like, and I really need to get it out of here. And then my balloon flowers have just started popping as well. The beautiful purple color. If you wanted to know why they're called balloon flowers, it's because when the buds are closed, they look like little balloons. And when my daughter was young, she would walk around and pop them and giggle. She was about 3 years old. So this garden is at peak, and it really needs to be thinned. Got lots of stuff going on. So many different lilies. There's a darker variety of lily that I've got, darker pink, and it's a little bit shorter. I really like it. This one fell into the bed, so it's a little bit more of a white throat on that lily. I always like to do a pan view when I get to this part of the garden, and that way I can kind of plug in different times of year and overlay and show how the garden was at max during different points of the year. There's a very early spring with all the tulips, a mid-spring, and then this is now early summer. It's really amazing with the Annabelle hydrangeas as a backdrop up by my house. It's really kind of a cool picture. Alright, let's finish walking through here. I went through this area already. And there's some irises. I still have to thin these out, and then I have some daffodils and tulips. The greens are just starting to dry up. We'll get those out of here. And we're coming into more of these sombrero lilies, which are really quite lovely. I really like them. I'm sorry, the sombrero cornflowers. The color is just really amazing. And they start out when they're younger looking like this one. And then as they age, they start to fold back and they look more like this, which is kind of interesting. Well, once these are all done, I'll end up actually coming out and deadheading. Here's another batch of that gooseneck loosestrife that I need to get out of here. I'll probably have to start weeding in the morning when it's cooler. Just pulling everything out of there. Coming around, we have some more balloon flowers. So I think you can really see the purple on these ones a little bit more. And then there's one in there that's open. When we get into here, we have some other specialty things. We have nice orange lily I got from one of my friends. This is a gift that a friend gave me. And then you have your standard cone flowers there. If I take a step back, you can see the bee balm, which is pretty amazing too. All of this needs to be thinned out. The bee balm is just really quite striking. I really like a pop of red here and there. I'm going to keep walking along the path here. I'm going to take a look back this direction. The sun's pretty bright. I can't see so much. Hopefully that looks pretty stunning. And then, as we go back out of the garden, you can see we have, again, these Delphiniums. I'm going to cut them off. So when I cut them off, I'm going to cut them off down to about here. And they'll actually rebloom in about 6 to 8 weeks, which is kind of neat. A lot of work, a lot of deadheading stuff. Again, maybe I'll start tomorrow. If you've enjoyed this garden tour, give us a thumbs up so YouTube knows to share this content with others. Also consider subscribing so you don't miss any of our other great videos. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great day.